There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes. Starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine, the show that teaches you how to survive the things that can kill you.
Like tornadoes, choking,
Oof.
sociopaths.
Yeah. And the things that just make you wish you were dead.
Like unexpected giggles, Garen, weird arms. How about bad audiences?
Oh, hells yes.
You know what might cheer us up?
What?
The theme song.
Doot, 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 doot.
Ground is shaking under our feet, mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Goblin down, Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Chris and a very giggly Garen. Giggly Garen.
Oh, giggly
garden
Garen.
squirrel.
That's cute.
That's
just
cute.
imagine a squirrel giggling.
Oh, how cute would that be?
I got a nut.
That's exactly what he'd say. Are you giggly because it's indictment day?
I just came out of nowhere. It just hit me.
Okay.
It must be
Happy
that.
Indictment
Happy
Day.
Indictment
It's in the
Day.
air.
How are you guys going to celebrate?
Well,
Bunker down?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
yeah.
Put boards on your windows?
Exactly.
I think here in Southern California we're pretty safe.
I think so too.
But watch out, Hermosa Beach.
Oh, fuck. So how are you, Chris?
I mean, I'm happy about that. We've had a night.
Okay.
You know, I was very busy researching for this episode. I was up late, so I didn't get to draft the email to our principal about Benjamin getting punched in the face at school.
What? Was it Alex?
You know what? Surprisingly, it wasn't. That's at home.
Principal was
What?
like, you should handle this yourself.
We also write the principal about that, but they never do anything. We're like, can you please help us?
Anyone?
Just someone.
Send someone
We're
over.
We're just writing emails into the void.
What happened?
Well, he was playing basketball, and a student in his class, who I won't mention by name, but let's just say there are constant issues with this student.
This is not a friend of his.
Well, it's weird because he will say, like, we're friends, you know, they sometimes get along, and he'll sometimes say, he's my friend now, you know. I think Benji often is trying to have a friendship with him because Benji wants to be friends with everyone. And he'll often say, oh, well, I'm the nicest. When they'll talk about other kids, they'll say like, this one's the class clown. This one is the one that's the flirt. Like, because I'll ask them, I'll say like, who's the one that gets in trouble? Like, well, and that's
Alex.
this kid. It's not actually Alex, but she's like the one that talks, gets in trouble for talking the most.
Okay,
but this is the boy who gets in trouble
He's
for gets sent out of class or gets sent to the
shit.
principal's office. It's this
Is
boy.
this the kid, the Trump kid?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of indictment,
Right. That's why he was mad.
Okay. For a second, I swear to God, I believed you. Okay.
So this is the kid who, during COVID times, Benji at one point had said, can you please put your mask on? We're supposed to wear a mask. And he called Benji a COVID freak. And he's also called COVID. He's also called Benjamin Gay as a slur. So he also walks around and says, I'm homophobic.
I wish more people would be that open.
Yeah,
with their
kids are really honest. They're not like adults.
called Benji a liberal cuck.
Yeah, he basically has. He would if he had the language for it.
Yeah.
So apparently they were playing basketball, and he got upset because he thought Benji tripped him, which Benji said maybe he just tripped over my foot.
Right, he didn't do it purposely.
And he close-fisted punched him in the face.
Jesus Christ.
So I said, what? Well, did anyone see it? And he said, yeah, one of the yard guards saw it. I think that's what they're called. Yard duty people. They're they're parent volunteers.
Oh.
No, they're parents who get paid. I don't know.
They get paid?
It's like nothing, but a little bit of
Milk
money.
carton.
Yeah, they get a free chocolate milk. And a straw.
Remember how good that chocolate milk was? I loved it.
But the strawberry, ew.
Oh, we didn't have strawberry.
Just pour that down the drain.
Yeah.
He got sent to the office and he got a purple slip, whatever that means. Your parent has to sign it. He goes, but Mom, he just rips them up. He's always getting purple slips.
Oh, right.
So Sven and I were like, this isn't okay.
No.
Because he was crying. He's like, I don't want to go back to school. I'm afraid to go to school.
Baby. Was it like, does he have a bruise?
It's a little swollen.
It was in his cheek?
Yeah.
Oh, this poor kid.
And I said, this will not stand.
Of course.
We're going to write the principal,
Yeah.
So then the rest of the day, he just had to be punched.
And they didn't contact
He had to sit
you?
with that punch. No, that's the thing I think is weird, that it was like, I guess it's just okay to get punched. And their whole thing at this school is like, we don't tolerate bullies. Like our whole thing is about anti-bullying. It's like
No, the kid should have been sent home, and you should have been called and told that your kid was punched in the face.
that's what I think. You okay over there,
Garen
Garen?
almost lost his
phone just
phone.
slid
Oh my
off,
gosh,
but I
don't.
caught it.
You got to stop putting cocoa butter on the back of your phone.
It makes it so smooth.
I know. Oh, it's so soft.
Guys, let's talk about a personality.
Okay, are we getting into our topic?
Should we, or do we have other things we want to cover?
Oh, I'm good.
Garen?
I got no covers.
Did anyone punch you in the face?
No. The weather last night when I was at a baseball game.
You were at a baseball game?
Yeah, my friend asked me if I wanted to go I'm playing a baseball game. You want to come watch me play? I'm like, okay. And then on the way there, she just casually drops it's a double header.
What does that mean?
2
Two in a
games
row.
Pass.
This is the first time she's played in this team, by the way, and it's the finals. So, and it was as cold as it's ever been in California, as far as I am concerned.
It was so cold.
It was
so
freezing.
windy.
It was really windy.
Yeah, it was. I was not happy.
Have you noticed that all of Garen's friends sound like, "Ugh, ugh."
Yeah,
yeah.
Every single one of your friends sounds
very
like that.
judgy.
And they're always asking you to do stuff you don't want to do.
Oh, then he asked me to go to a concert for free, and I was like, "Ugh."
You don't
I
do
guess.
that. It's rude.
They said a limo.
I gotta watch up here.
Like, whatever.
Then they took me to this free thing at a spa, and they paid for everything.
Cucumbers on my eyes.
And they give me a car, but I don't even drive. What am I going to do with this Mercedes?
Oh my god, it's like I've got triplets. It's everywhere. I'm looking in 2 mirrors.
You know what? Maybe Garen has something called antisocial personality disorder.
Oh, I think that's a definite.
Also known as sociopathy.
Oh, sociopathy.
Yep, I'm going to say it wrong every time. So, guys,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about what it's like to survive a sociopath.
Oh, nice.
Because, a couple weeks ago we talked about serial killers,
Yes.
which we know you're not going to encounter unless
Right.
you're the president.
Right. But
Wasn't that the statistic? Am I getting this
no,
wrong?
for something like that, yes. You'll only get a sociopath if you become president.
Exactly.
Right. Or if you are the president.
If you are the president, you are a serial killer.
Right.
Well, we have one that is a sociopath.
Right.
we had one that is a sociopath, but he's in handcuffs now. That's how
Hopefully.
I'm imagining him.
2024 is right around the corner.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I thought it might be fun to actually cover a personality disorder of someone you're actually going to encounter in your life, because sociopaths are very common.
Okay.
You know one.
Yeah.
You might be married to one. You might have a parent who's one. You might be dating one. Your boss might be one.
Oof.
Or have been one. But at some point in your life, you're very likely to encounter someone who's a sociopath, also known as antisocial personality disorder. Okay?
Okay.
So they use these terms. Antisocial personality disorder is used as an umbrella term to cover sociopaths and psychopaths. Good luck teasing out these two terms because some people in the mental health community believe they're interchangeable.
Oh.
Some people say they're very distinct. Some people say they kind of overlap. So
Yeah, we talked about it with a serial killer, and I believe you said that a psychopath doesn't know right from wrong, or I don't remember.
Here's what, as far as the research I did, and there are going to be mental health professionals who say that's not right, you know, or this is what I think. What I can glean is the sociopath has maybe a little more of a conscience and often aren't violent.
Okay.
Psychopaths are more unhinged and tend to be the ones who kill.
Got it.
However, a lot of the other research I read was said that, you know, sociopaths are in prison and sociopaths become violent. So
Okay.
you could argue there aren't many differences between the two.
All right.
For this purpose of this conversation, we're going to focus on sociopaths and talk about their characteristics, what they're like, how to know if you're encountering one, and how to be safe from one.
This is exciting because now I can Rolodex through my head about who fits these descriptions.
You can think about all your exes, your bosses, you know, just try to figure out who they are and make a list. It is a chronic mental health condition, meaning people aren't going to be cured. Okay? It's not going away.
Okay.
There is some evidence that it can lessen with age. People can become milder in their symptoms.
Grow out of your sociopathy?
A little, but
Okay.
then I also came across a study that showed that elderly people with the sociopath tendencies were just as bad. So, you know, whenever you see some information, know that there's always a study out there that's like, actually, we just found these old people beating their wives. It's characterized by manipulation, exploiting other people, and exhibiting criminal behavior. I'm going to give you some following traits that are common among sociopaths. You're going to recognize some of these and be like, oh, I'm thinking of someone right now. Superficial charm. Everyone seems to like them. Okay. Lack of remorse. They don't feel guilty when they've done something wrong. Lack of empathy. They don't care when someone else is hurt. Propensity to lie. They do it casually like it's nothing. Incapacity for love. Those closest to them realize something is missing. Egocentric. They light up when they're the center of attention. Delusions of grandeur. They often perceive themselves as superior to others.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I was like, oh, that's Trump. But there's also people in my life I thought, like, I have a former boss who I'm like, oh, he was definitely a sociopath.
Okay.
The cause is unknown. So it's not seen as being genetic. They can't point to, you know, environmental factors necessarily. But there are some things that I will give you that might point to some hints.
Okay.
Here are some fun stats. As much as 3.6% of adults in the United States, that's about 7.6 million people, have antisocial personality disorder.
What percent? 3.76?
3.6.
Oh, 3.6. Okay. That's not nothing.
It's pretty common. I read somewhere else that it was like 1 in 30 people.
Jesus.
Now, don't hold me to that because I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but I read that in a couple places. The disorder is known to affect men more than women. So I think it's 3 times as many men as women.
Okay.
There's another thing I read somewhere.
They get everything.
They do. They do.
We only make 70 cents on the sociopathy to their dollar.
Yeah, they get all the good stuff. According to research by David Corton, who's doesn't say where he's from, but
Just some dude.
he's some fancy man.
He's some fancy man.
Some little fancy man.
And he wears one of those old-fashioned bands with the mirror on it, like old-fashioned doctors.
Yep.
Why did they do that? Were they just trying to scare people? Like, what was it?
What was that mirror for? To see inside of your soul?
I'm going to guess it reflected the light,
Right.
but I don't
But
know.
what light?
Maybe we'll find out. And what did we learn today?
A high percentage of people who are CEOs of high-ranking companies or businesses exhibit symptoms of antisocial personality disorder.
Okay. Oh, that makes them successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no conscience, and they can just keep going forward. Greed.
Elizabeth Holmes
Elizabeth Holmes
was. I did a search on the most famous sociopaths, and she's on all the lists.
Oh wow! Oh, that's great. I mean, that's great information. That
Good
makes
for her.
sense. Good for her.
So it's not all men.
Right. Did you watch Succession this week?
I did.
Okay, so I'm just thinking they could all kind of form into that.
Absolutely.
the whole
I mean,
family.
the dad for sure.
Yeah. Shiv for sure. I
And
think.
then a lot of the kids are exhibiting a lot of those traits.
Yeah.
And I think the
Poor
assistant
Connor.
now at this point.
Yeah, the assistant,
Which is one of my favorite scenes. I put in the newsletter, which you guys haven't seen yet because I just released it from last week, a fun article where the actress who plays the assistant,
You mean the girlfriend / assistant?
talks about how she prepared for that episode.
To do the news.
Yeah, by watching footage of Laura Ingraham. Sort of how Laura Ingraham, when the camera, between sort of takes, how awful she treats people when the cameras aren't rolling.
Oh, they have footage of that?
I guess, yeah. And Tammy Laren, is that how you say her name?
Tommy. Yeah.
And how the two of them are sort of when they're on the news and then when the cameras aren't rolling and how awful they are. And she also revealed, which I think this is so interesting, how the writers and the creators of Succession will often use real things of the actors into the show.
Like what?
Just personality stuff and physical stuff.
Okay.
Not to be mean to them, but just to sort of make it more real. And so she said for a couple days she was actually worried about her arms. She was like, how are my arms? Because they
That's funny.
took that sort of idea of like...
It's just your arms.
Your arms are weird.
I'm a little sad we're not going to see more of her fucking up the news, though.
Well, maybe. Who knows? But I'm glad
Yeah,
we're
I
going to
guess.
see hopefully more of her, because that line about like, if I find out that focus group wasn't real, I'll tear you apart like a piece of human string cheese.
Yeah, that was great.
I was just...
that was great.
That was...
Oh, my God. Cousin Greg.
And he's just like,
By the way, I think I'm forgetting his name. McFadden? The guy who plays Tom?
Matthew McFadden.
Oh, my God. He's like just an amazing actor, right?
Wonderful.
He's like fantastic.
So, I mean...
just that scene where he's like has to pivot.
Yes.
And he's like getting, that's what he wants from me. That's what the boss, what the fuck is Roy? What's his first name?
Logan.
That's what Logan wants from me. He wants me to, and he just pivots. Oh my God.
Every
so
scene
good.
feels like a master class
I know.
of writing and acting.
I know.
When you
It's
watch
crazy.
just when Logan comes in and he closes the laptop really quick, and she's like, "Well, just play it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I think it's broken." I'm just like inside. I'm going, "Oh God,
It's so painful.
Oh God.
I think it's broken. Why don't you do it? You have it set up. I think it's ridiculous. Anyway, Fisher Stevens.
Fisher Stevens. Yeah, he's really coming into his own.
40 years later.
Hey, you know what?
He's just famous for like Short Circuit and being married to Michelle Pfeiffer, right? Is that right?
He was married to Michelle Pfeiffer. That is
did not know
just
that.
Yeah.
mind blowing.
For a minute. I didn't make that up, right?
I don't think so.
No, that's-
I mean,
I think
I just
that's real.
remembered he had the brother who was like a teen idol, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
His brother's the other Stevens, the hot one.
I don't know who that is. I can't think of a
Look up his brother.
Parker Stevens. Oh, that's Parker Stevenson.
His brother was really, he might still be alive, but was like one of the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, that's Parker Stevenson.
Wait, I'm getting my mind blown. Hold on. Doesn't he have a hot brother?
I don't think so. I think you maybe made that up.
He dated Michelle Pfeiffer from 89 to 92.
Oh, they didn't get married. Okay.
I don't think he has.
Still, though, she had sex with him for 3 years.
I mean, and didn't he play like an Indian guy in Short Circuit? Isn't that what he's sort of famous
Does
for?
he have a brother?
No, I don't
No,
think he
you're
has a
thinking of
brother.
Parker Stevenson.
How did I think those two were related?
Because you
Because I was a child.
also think it's Laura Ingraham.
I get a lot of things
It's
wrong.
just Laura Ingram.
No, it is Laura Ingraham.
They pronounce it Ingraham?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I beg pardon. I always heard it as Laura Ingraham.
It's the same thing because every time I watch it, I'm like, who is Laura Ingram? Extra syllable, ham, whatever.
I thought it was just pronounced Laura Ingraham.
Yeah, no, it's Laura Ingraham.
Like Birmingham.
It's not Laura Ingraham Wilder?
Who's Laura? from Little House on the Prairie?
That's not the same person?
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
She does call Trump Pa.
I hate that woman. I don't hate a lot of people, and I hate her.
Who, Laura Ingraham?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's Ingraham.
How about that 60 Minutes did a profile of...
Fuck you, Leslie Stahl.
Oh, I know, right?
Did you see the clip?
I can't even watch the clip. It
Don't
makes me
watch
too
the
mad.
clip. It infuriated me.
The fact that they're just legitimizing...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about... I'm just going to tell you this part. This is all I'm going to... Because this is all I saw. She says, Leslie Stahl says to...
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. MTG. Do you really think that the Democratic Party are pedophiles? And she says, I do. I think they're groomers. And
Wow.
Pedophiles treat children as sex. They sexualize children and drag queen. It was stupid. It didn't make any sense. So this is Leslie Stahl's reaction. Wow. That's your fucking follow-up? You don't have any facts? You don't want to like press her like how that's absolutely insane? You're just going to roll your eyes and say, wow, that's not a fucking interviewer. Like I was so infuriated. I was like, I can't.
It's irresponsible to run it.
It's irresponsible to just say wow and not have any like, well, can you point, like I was thinking like if it were Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, oh, really? Can you point me to any statistics that back up anything you're saying?
Let's see some proof.
Let's see some proof.
God, could you imagine Jon Stewart?
I know.
Her?
I was.
It would never happen.
I got really excited thinking about it. I was like, "Oh my God, that would be brilliant." She's a sociopath.
Yeah. And it's not like the kind of illness where you go, "Oh well, it's not their fault because their dad didn't love them."
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Even though, that leads me to this next point, people with antisocial personality disorder are more likely than others to have experienced some form of child abuse, but not always. Again. Correlation does not equal causation.
Right.
That doesn't mean there are lots of people who have been victims of child abuse. They don't become sociopaths. It doesn't mean this causes, it just means there's a correlation there.
Okay.
Antisocial personality disorder may be one of the most misunderstood mental disorders because it's also often undiagnosed and untreated, according to a recent special report by Donald Black, MD, in Psychiatric News. He referred to it as psychiatry's forgotten disorder. He said few clinicians diagnose or treat it. I think it's because they don't often seek treatment.
Right. Why would they?
They don't think there's anything wrong with them. They think they're fine. You know, think about someone like, if we just use Donald Trump as an example. Okay, so a lot of mental health professionals I've seen this online, do think he has NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Or is a sociopath, exhibits a lot of traits. I'm only using him as an example because he's so recognizable and many of us know a lot about him.
And his symptoms are so exaggerated.
Right. Does he seem like a person who's going to seek treatment for this? No, of course not. He thinks he's perfect. So often, though, those types of people might seek treatment for another disorder like depression, anxiety, ADHD, and then a clinician may sort of tease out by spending time with that person. Oh, have you ever thought about this? However, there's very little that can be done because there isn't really there's no medication. There's no treatment that's been seen to be very effective. However, there's emerging research that shows that treatment of impulsivity in early adolescence can help prevent later development of antisocial personality disorder. So there's some research showing that if you catch it when they're young, you can treat the impulsivity that's coming out in the young age, you might be able to stop it from developing into a full-blown antisocial personality disorder. So that's some hope for parents. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about narcissists versus sociopaths because there's some confusion and they're similar, and people might be dealing with one of those in their relationships or in their personal life. So they can both be charismatic, intelligent, charming, successful, as well as unreliable, controlling, selfish, disingenuous, and dishonest. They both lack empathy and emotional responsiveness.
Okay.
Sociopaths qualify as narcissists, but not all narcissists are sociopaths.
Right.
The main distinction is that sociopaths are more cunning and manipulative because their ego isn't always at stake. So narcissists are like, I need to be liked, like me. They're so fragile, right?
Yes.
They really need you to like them.
Okay.
They really need the praise and attention, whereas sociopaths can take on any persona that suits them. They're harder to spot because they're not trying to impress you or win your approval, unless it serves their agenda. Like,
well, I'm just thinking about Trump again, because he clearly needs to be liked, but also likes to enrage people to hate him. But
it's hard to know which one, because sociopaths can present as narcissists, but you don't really know how much they care. It seems like he does care a lot. He seems very fragile.
He's very fragile.
So if I had to choose, I would probably say narcissist.
Yeah.
But I'm also not a mental health professional.
Right.
I just dabble in my spare time.
Sure.
Severe narcissistic personality disorder resembles antisocial personality disorder. And this is what the researchers say. The differences are irrelevant.
Okay.
If you're being abused by one of these types, get help.
Okay.
Don't be concerned with the diagnosis. Don't worry. You don't need to know to just get away. It says heal yourself from trauma or PTSD and codependency. Whether you're thinking of staying or leaving the relationship, neither will be easy, because it's really difficult to get out of these kinds of relationships. And you really have to be careful, and you really have to get help. Like, seek support. Focus on gaining awareness, protecting yourself, and getting help and support. We're going to put some resources in the newsletter.
Right.
This is not an easy thing to do. I have some rules on dealing with a sociopath that I got from a book called The Sociopath Next Door. A woman named Martha Stout wrote this book. She's a PhD. These sound a little bit more like if they're in your personal life. The sociopaths in your personal life. Number 1, accept that some people truly have no conscience.
Wow, isn't that terrifying?
It really is, but this is the truth about a sociopath. They don't have a conscience.
See, this is why I have problems watching. I think I've said this before, but when I watch movies where someone murders someone, like not like a classic bad guy,
right?
But just like someone who got into a bad situation and they murder someone, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna have to live with that for the rest of their lives. How are they gonna deal with that? And not realizing, like, some people don't have that conscience and could just live with it.
They do not care.
Right.
It's time to recognize you are being abused and violated. Don't make excuses or accepting excuses for their bad behaviors. We often put our own feelings onto other people's behaviors.
Right.
But these people do not feel the way we do. Like, they don't feel.
Sure.
So you can't put your stuff on them. Like,
right.
And number 2, go with your instincts or intuitions versus the implied role this person has taken on. They are excellent communicators. Don't believe them. They're very good at lying.
Yeah.
They're very good at manipulating. And you have to keep reminding yourself of that. This third one, it's a little... I'm not even sure if I agree with this. Give 3 strikes. First offense, look at the claims, responsibilities, and promises made or implied, and address any inconsistencies. Do not sweep them under the rug. Second, was it a simple mistake or recklessness? Second offense or neglect of responsibility, consider if you are placing yourself in physical, emotional, or financial risk. By third strike, cut your losses. I mean, I don't know. What was the first thing?
I guess it depends. Yeah, I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Because anyone can be an asshole one day.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about physical abuse. I think 1 strike.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say for me. I've never been in that situation.
Right.
I'm assuming that I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. Like,
First time someone hits you, that's it. That's the last time.
Like, I'd say to Benjamin, you got punched in the face.
That
that's
guy's not
it.
your friend anymore.
You don't get to be friends with this person.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 4.
Okay.
Don't be suspicious of those who don't want you to question them.
Oh, Good one.
You know, if somebody's like, hey, I'm the one who makes the rules around here. Don't ask me questions about the rat poison in your coffee.
Right.
Then, you know, that's a red flag.
Yes.
There's a lot of red flags in that statement.
Right.
Don't confuse fear with respect. Know what respect means to you and teach others how you want to be treated. By the way, abusive individuals are not very teachable.
Interesting.
Okay. Don't try to redeem them. Don't try to get even. It only prolongs involvement and delays your recovery. You're not going to get even with this person.
Right.
You're not going to get judgment or, you know, justice. Your goal is to just get away and get healthy. This is why it's good to not live in isolation. They seek those who are isolated, insecure, and vulnerable. So make sure you're part of a caring community. Don't let them cut off your resources.
Yeah, don't go live in a yurt and
No.
then find the one guy and then, you know, fall in love with him.
Yeah, look at Keith Raniere, how good he was in like the cult leader at getting people to cut off all their other sources of support so that they were only listening to his voice.
Right.
Enlist support from family and friends, human resources, an attorney, therapist, and or the police. Join a support group such as Aftermath, Surviving Psychopathy, Psychopath Free, etc. We'll put those links in the...
Psychopath Free is one of the names of the...
Yeah, it's a support group.
It's hard to say.
It is hard to...
Psychopath Free.
Psychopath Free. Document. Put this... Because oftentimes, psychopaths are well-liked. Sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, they're very well liked in the community.
Right.
And so when the person is like, this person's doing this to me, they're like, really? Are you sure you guys just aren't a good fit? Like, they don't know what's happening to the person being abused because the person being abused isn't believed because they come across so well to the community.
Yeah.
Okay. Never agree to help him conceal his true character. He will tell you not to tell anyone, but don't keep his secrets. Share your experience. It can help others not to fall victim and can help you find purpose. Purpose. Okay. What if you work with a sociopath? Guess what the first tip is?
Quit. HR.
I think that would be good if you could, but the first one is actually remain calm. And strong. Okay? Keep your guard up. Resist temptation to talk it out or change the person. They're not motivated by love, but power. So don't give them your power. Put up your guard, okay? If you show real emotions, that makes you a target because they'll see you as someone who can be easily manipulated, right?
Yep.
Be skeptical.
So be skeptical.
Always be skeptical. Skeptical about anything the person tells you. They're really skilled at pushing people's buttons to get a rise out of them. So try to not give them any information that makes you vulnerable.
Okay.
Keep conversations neutral, okay? Don't let them do all the talking. You speak up too, and you take the conversation where you want it to go.
Okay.
So that way you can keep it in comfortable territory. Don't give the person the chance to catch you off guard with some kind of barb, because they'll use it to like get digs in. You know what I say? Just always talk about the weather.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Weather is always safe.
How's the weather up there, you fucking asshole? How's that?
That's perfect.
I wonder what the weather would look like with your head inside your ass.
I love it. Are you a sociopath now?
I might be in training.
Never share personal information, okay? So they will try to get your bank statements and look at your account. They will try to get into your email. They'll try to get your personal stuff. So here's what you do. If they want money from you, make it sound like you don't have any money. If they want power, make it seem like you aren't well connected. If they want to use you, make yourself less desirable.
Okay.
Done.
Done.
Do it every day.
Check and check.
Don't talk about things that make you happy or upset. Like you don't just don't give them anything.
You don't give them fuel.
Don't give them fuel, exactly. Don't give them any kindling. Don't accept gifts. Don't accept help from them. Just don't give them anything to use against you. Like, if you're going to like try to get a different job, because that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Don't even let them know you're looking.
Oh, no.
Because they'll try to
sabotage it.
They'll try to sabotage. Document all the harassment.
I'm just laughing because as you're saying all this, all I can think about is Succession and how if you went in there with like a person who was like, this is how you should deal with a sociopath, and then all of them are looking at each other like, Well, we're all sociopaths.
They are all sociopaths. I mean, that whole show is just one sociopath hurting another sociopath.
Yeah.
It is really just a perfect example of how sociopaths operate. So I have a story. It's interesting because there were so many stories about sociopaths I wanted to cover, but the stories were all so already well known that I was like, you know what?
Ellen.
Yeah, I was like, everybody knows about Ellen. But Elizabeth Holmes and Bernie Madoff and the guy, Billy McFarland from Firefest.
Oh, yeah.
Like these are all sort of really well covered sociopaths. And also it's like, it would take me 2 hours to tell the story.
Right.
So what I found instead, which I think is really interesting, is a New York Times Modern Love called He Married a Sociopath, Me.
Oh, twist.
Exactly. And it's a woman.
Okay.
So I'm going to share this with you. And I thought it was pretty interesting. My husband was trying to tell me I was the only one for him. Don't lie to a liar, I said. It wasn't a very romantic reply, I'll admit. But I'm not a romantic. I'm a sociopath.
Holy shit.
My husband knows this, of course. As for me, I knew as early as age 7 that I wasn't like other children. I didn't care about things the way others did. I was a girl. My male-sounding name, Patrick, is short for Patricia, who mostly felt...
No, it's not, by the way.
I know. But I actually don't know if... Maybe it's pronounced Patrice. It's Patric.
Maybe it's pronounced Graham.
I was a girl who mostly felt nothing.
Jesus.
It wasn't until college that a therapist told me what I had long suspected. My lack of emotion and empathy are all hallmarks of sociopathy. A few years later, doctors would confirm my diagnosis.
Oh my God.
Human beings aren't designed to function without access to emotion, so we sociopaths often become destructive in order to feel things. I used to break into houses or steal cars for the adrenaline rush of knowing I was somewhere I wasn't allowed to be, just to feel, period. It didn't take long for me to realize this was not an effective life strategy. Rather than risk incarceration, or worse, I used my diagnosis to fuel my pursuit of a PhD in psychology. Like many, I gained my first understanding of sociopaths from pop culture, which portrays us as singularly dangerous and threatening, our flat emotional state and lack of remorse making us unfit for normal life. It wasn't until I began my research in graduate school that I learned sociopaths exist along a wide spectrum, like many people with psychiatric disorders. You'll find us everywhere in daily life, as your colleagues, neighbors, friends, and sometimes members of your own family. My husband and I dated in high school and found each other again after college. You would think my insincerity, emotional poverty, absence of shame and guilt, and reduced empathic response wouldn't exactly land me in the dream girl category. Perhaps because he and I had grown up together and he was already familiar with my bad side, he remained in denial for years about my having any sort of real psychological problem. Nevertheless, 13 years later, we're still in love and happily married. But am I the only one for him? Definitely not. My husband had developed a crush on a female colleague at work. It was obvious and I understood why. She was everything I'm not. Thoughtful, kind, compassionate. I doubt she ever attempted to choke anyone, unlike me.
Wait, whoa. That took a turn. I thought she just had a flat affect. I didn't know she was like choking people. Okay.
She buried the lead. She was socially appropriate at parties, appreciated compliments and affection. Her charm was authentic and her darkness, if she had any, relatable. Unlike mine. It made sense he would like her. They would make a great pair. So why wouldn't he just admit it? He knew I didn't take things personally. That's one of the perks of being married to a sociopath. I don't get jealous. He knew that if he were to tell me he liked her, I would listen and relate without reaction. I might even end up helping him shed some of his Catholic school guilt. All he had to do was be honest.
Okay.
When you're a sociopath in a marriage, especially one with children, honesty is critical, even more, I would argue, than for people in normal relationships. As a sociopath, I had difficulty prioritizing telling the truth, but as a wife and a mother, I forced myself to learn. Outside of my family, my loyalty to the truth is what has enabled me to connect with other people. As a doctor who specializes in the research of sociopathy, oh my God, I'll never get it right.
It's fine.
I prize credibility and integrity as my greatest asset. My husband was never thrilled to hear that I had spent the day in a stranger's house without that person's knowledge or committed other misdeeds, but his real anger was reserved for the fact that I never felt guilty about these things. For my husband, guilt is a driving force. His formative years were shaped by his overbearing and infirm mother. And then he married someone who seemed immune to it. He wanted to know, why did I never care what anyone thought? Why was my behavior never limited by guilt? What a pair we are. Certainly, there have been setbacks. He isn't always patient. I'm not always on my best behavior. And on those occasions, I leave a token on his desk to let him know when I've been up to no good.
Ooh.
Minor mischief, like sneaking embarrassing items into a line cutter's grocery cart. The token I leave is an innocuous trinket, a Statue of Liberty figurine from a keychain. Anyone
Someone's ear.
Anyone else who saw it wouldn't think twice, but he knows what it means. Believe it or not, I could appreciate the cause of his dishonesty. On good days, I was almost entertained by it. His clumsy white lies were like a toddler's and nearly as endearing. On those days, I wanted to hug him for being so cute. You see what you're doing? I wanted to say. You're not being honest about your feelings for her. You're lying. Now, how is this any different from what I used to do? And just like that, he would have gotten a lesson in empathy, from a sociopath, no less. And we would have laughed and understood each other better and gone back to sharing everything. At least I'd like to think so. My husband, after all, was the one who said we must be honest without exception, and he was the one who insisted I confess to every single thing, every single time. So why wasn't he playing by the same rules? On bad days, these were the thoughts that dominated, when I couldn't help but wonder, is this what fear feels like? I think it was. My husband was lying to me, gaslighting me, sneaking, acting like a sociopath. And isn't that how we sociopaths are defined, as liars without the ability to empathize? On such days, I saw what it must be like to be married to someone like me, and the irony is almost shimmering. Still, I couldn't help but smile, thinking of the future, of the days when we would be able to joke about the time we almost split up because he started acting like a sociopath, and that in doing so, my husband was finally able to teach me the one thing I have been trying to learn all of my life: empathy.
Jesus Christ. That is so crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Because I'm trying to wrap my head around, she doesn't have a lot of emotions, but she still wants to be married and feels like she's in love and she's a parent.
Yeah. Learning and a mother and just trying to sort of function in a normal life. Because I think like all mental disorders, illnesses, it exists on a continuum.
Right. So obviously some part of her wants those things.
Yeah.
Wow, that was crazy.
Crazy stories.
Oh, the trinkets.
I know.
Oh, that is...
The trinkets. I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty.
It's wild, right?
Here's a toe.
Well, that's a good story.
Thank you.
They didn't break up, right? Is that what I...
No, and this story is actually... I cut some of it out.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to read the entire piece, which is really good, I'll post it in our newsletter.
Well, that sounds good.
Okay.
I will. I'm going to read the whole thing.
I hope so.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.
Yay.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com, code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents a work love story like no other. Meet Productivity. She's all business.
The Canva doc is done.
Creativity is more of a free thinker.
Whiteboard brainstorm.
They're worlds apart, but sometimes opposites attract. Thanks to Canva.
The data is in the deck.
And now it's an animated graph.
Kristine, where productivity meets creativity. Now showing on computer screens everywhere. Love your work at canva.com.
Welcome back to How to Survive. Kristine, how was your break?
It was very interesting. I was with you the whole time.
I know. I don't even know why I asked you. Maybe I'm a sociopath because I was pretending as if we hadn't just been together the whole time.
You might be.
I might be a
I
little
don't
bit.
think you fit all the characteristics, though. You are quite charming.
I was going to say, do I fit any of the characteristics?
I think I'm clear. I don't
What?
think I fit any of those characteristics.
No, you're in the clear.
No.
I think
I'm not
we're
charismatic. I'm not successful. Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think any of us are
things.
successful enough.
What if you're a poor sociopath? That's got to be frustrating.
You're failing.
You're failing.
Yeah.
An unsuccessful sociopath.
Yeah.
Well, for the first half of the show, we talked about how to survive a sociopath. And now, for this half of the show, we're going to talk about how to survive a rude audience member, which is almost the same thing.
Yeah. You've got to be a sociopath to be rude.
With our special guest. You know him from Star Trek and Babylon 5 and from being my dad, Walter Koenig.
Hello, Walter.
Hi. I didn't know that my daughter was charming. That's really interesting.
Yeah, well, only to Chris. Only to Chris. Not to anyone else.
Okay.
I think the audience finds you very charming.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Good. Well, all right.
I got something from you.
What do you want?
I got something from you.
You got something from me?
Yeah, I'm charming.
Good. Well, I knew I had something to offer. I just wasn't sure what.
So, how are you today?
I'm okay. I'm a little harassed or harried, as I am almost every day.
Why are you harried?
Well, today was just, I got everything together. I got my earplugs in. I got my glasses. I got my keys to the car. Got the keys to the house. But the phone isn't on the hook. And I'm running all over the house. I've got to be there on time. I cannot disappoint my daughter and come 2 minutes late. Where the freak?
You can swear on this. It's okay.
Yeah, it was in my pocket.
Wait, an entire
phone,
not a cell phone, an entire home phone was in your pocket. And you don't have.
So I figured that the worst has already happened.
Oh, okay. That's the worst that could happen today?
Yeah, so all this is going to be great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And
this is easy.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You have no ass. So the phone in your pocket, I would think, would weigh down your pants quite a lot.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or not to not have an ass.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's true, isn't it?
Feel your pain.
It's in my side, it's in the front.
It's in the front pocket?
Yeah.
What? I can't even. You got some big pockets in your jeans, or do they just have holes?
Oh, man.
Oh,
that's
big
a
pocket.
whole.
Oh. Okay. That's okay. Just put it over your ears.
It's my slide. It's my skinhead. Okay.
He doesn't mean he has a racist with him. He means that he doesn't have a lot of hair up top. Okay, so what is this crazy story?
Okay, we have to go back in time a little bit. Before you were born, before your brother was born, I think Judy and I were married by then. In any case, I was with one theater company called Theater East, and that was great. It was a lab where you tried out, you did scenes, and you were critiqued by the other members of the group. But I wanted to be showcased. I wanted people to know that I'm out there, not just the members of the company. So I heard about this theater called Company of Angels.
Okay, yes.
And they were on Waring off of Vine in Hollywood. And I went down there to see if I could exact an audition to get into the company. And I ran into the director, a chap named Vince Spagetta, who ended up doing a couple of series, leads in series. In any case, he was directing a play called Blood Wedding by Garcia Lorca. And he was a great guy, very, very passionate, very Italian, and he said
he used his hands a lot.
Yeah, he used his hands. Yeah,
well, because he was Italian. I'm just saying he gestured a lot.
Yeah, but don't catalog him in a particular way.
You're the one who said he was Italian and very.
So he said to me,
I got from his name Vince Spagetta that he was Italian. You're the one who had to point out that he was Italian, which I'm sure when I was a kid I probably thought his name.
You could tell from the spaghetti. That was
right. Yeah, marinara on his.
So
job.
he said, "Well, I'm directing this play, and we need an actor to play the Greek chorus in the play." And the Greek chorus being the people who do the exposition, who tell the story while the actors act out the relationships and etc. These are the folks. It's an old tradition. I think it goes back to the Greeks.
I would think it would.
Yeah. So there are three members of the Greek chorus. They have none. So he said we could make it two. And you could do one with a mask and one without.
Okay.
And I thought that was a great challenge. I said, I've never done that before. So I went to my wife, Judy, And I said, I need a mask. So she was an artist, and she created this mask that weighed about 6 ounces, and I emphasize the weight because that helps me atone for what I did.
Now let me just I'm just going to interrupt here. Just say that my mom was also an actor, but she also was a costume designer and she just had literally everything in her garage that you possibly needed. So I'm guessing to make this mask, she just reached into the garage and pulled out 25 different things and made it for you. She probably didn't even have to buy anything.
No, she didn't buy it.
No, I'm saying she probably didn't even have to buy anything to make it. She probably had all the ingredients there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she made this wonderful mask, and so my deal was I was supposed to come out on stage. In the beginning, I'm a woodcutter. We were supposed to be 3 woodcutters, but it's just one. But I'm doing dialogue for two characters.
Okay.
And although my daughter's going to fall on the floor when I tell her that it was a dance. She doesn't think I can dance at all.
I've never said that. Wait, you have to tell the story quickly. Interrupt your own story to tell the story about being at Neighborhood Playhouse and your dance teacher.
Okay, Martha Graham, who is modern dance, and everybody in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s knew her. She was this extraordinary modern dance teacher. And we had this thing and she came in and taught a class at the
Neighborhood Playhouse is an acting school in New York.
Right, it's an acting school in New York, and so we all had to come across the floor, and it was a thing where you stand up straight and you walk and you move with a certain dispatch and grace, and. The very first time I did it, she said, "Mr. Koenig, you look like an aging Hebraic student." Well, I never stood up straight. That's the problem,
Because you were so tall and you were embarrassed of your height.
That was it because I was so tall, and that's why you're so tall.
Exactly.
So, in any case, so I had to So I had to do this whole dance thing where I came in, and it's at night, and I'm carrying a lit torch. Oh, I got to reverse gears.
Okay.
Just a second. Before the show started, I did something that as an actor, you're never supposed to do. So all of you folks out there who are thinking of becoming actors, write this down. You don't make contact with the audience before the show.
Oh. Yeah. You don't want to blow the reality.
Yeah, and you don't want to hear things that you don't want to hear.
Okay.
That are going to piss you off when you're on the stage.
Oh, okay. I had a different reason for it, but okay.
So I hear these young people, 18, 20 years old, saying, "Did we want to see this? I don't know. What the hell is this?" And they're trying to make up their mind. Bear in mind, this is in the age of the fishbowl. When we didn't charge admission, we had a fishbowl. And people just dropped money in if they were so inclined. Mm-hmm. But that also gives them the sense that how good can this be? Right. We can get in for free.
Yeah.
So there's a total lack of respect that goes on. Well, not a total lack. Some people are good. In any case, so I light the candle, and I go into this whole thing, and I come out, and my hands are so graceful, and my feet are just perfect. With my lit candle, the audience is literally 3 or 4 feet from me. Literally. And I hear... Somebody in the audience is trying to blow out my freaking candle. Now, I heard you talking about Sociopath before I came on. That's where you get it, baby. That's where you got it from. Because I went nuts. I stopped the show. And I screamed at the audience. I said, "This is not a movie theater. These are real human beings acting. Now you either respect that or you get the hell out."
I love that.
And there's dead silence, dead silence. And I'm looking around. So what do? I walk off stage, relight my candle, and come back out. And I finish. But I'm so humiliated. I know how unprofessional this is. How terrible. How upset I would be if I was in the audience. So I finish my scene and leave, and Vince comes back afterwards, as we're getting ready for the curtain call. And he says, "Okay, everybody, get ready for the curtain call." That's the Italian gesture.
He's gesturing his hand. Yeah. He took the fettuccine off of his shoulders.
And I say, "Vince, I can't go out there. I can't go out there." He says, "Oh, you gotta.
We're not on video.
So I say, "Okay, yeah, I deserve what I'm going to get." I was incredibly unprofessional, totally lost it, and I should be booed. So I wait for my entrance. I come out, and the place erupts in applause. I can't freaking believe it. You notice I keep using freaking because I'm trying to obey.
You don't have to.
Oh, I can't stinking believe it.
Thank you for cleaning it up.
Yeah, it's amazing. It never occurred to me that there'd be people in the audience who would think this was a pretty gutsy thing, and the guy in the audience should be chastised for his abominable behavior. So that's my story. Except that after it's all over and everybody is left, I come out and I'm standing there in the audience. I'm standing there on the stage, looking out at the audience, reprising what I had done and feeling really, really bad. And I hear a voice of somebody behind me saying, "What do you do nights?" Oh, Jesus, I forgot the most important part. Oh. The most important part is when I screamed, I took my papier-mâché mask and I flung it into the audience.
Wait a second. Did you fling it at the guy who was, or you didn't know who was?
I didn't know who it was. I just flung it. And so I'm standing there looking at the empty theater and thinking, I'll probably never work. I'll probably never work again because this is so obscene what I did.
And was Mom in the audience when this happened?
No, not that night.
Okay.
No.
So did you tell her what happened?
Oh, yeah, I told her. And I was properly reprimanded for my inexcusable psychopathic behavior.
Just to be clear, I wasn't calling you a psychopath.
Yeah.
I wasn't calling myself a psychopath.
Oh, you were calling me a psychopath?
No, I wasn't. I'm saying, just to be clear, I wasn't calling you a psychopath.
Oh, but I take credit for everything.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe you are.
Your successes as well.
Thank you. So did you ever have any other similar, act outs or tantrums on stage or on the set or anything?
I got fired.
Yeah?
I got fired from a movie of the week. It was a movie of the week with Mia Farrow,
Ooh.
John Colicos, the fellow who played Mark Twain.
Who played Mark Twain?
Yeah.
I don't know who
Hal
played.
Holbrook?
One-man show for years.
Hal Holbrook?
Hal Holbrook.
Oh, he played, yes, you're right, thank you. Yes.
And that was an interesting experience. It was Mia Farrow was the lead, and these three guys are part of her life. One guy is a boyfriend, one is somebody she consults with, and in any case, the part of the agent was a good part. And I after reading the script, Jack Scher was the one that recommended. Uh-huh. They looked at film. I did an Alfred Hitchcock where I did a lead, but it was a totally different role. It was not. I mean, it was a gangster. It was a hoodlum. But
yeah, you were a 28-year-old hoodlum.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those were the years that I worked.
I know.
So they looked at this, and then they offered me, after having done the lead opposite James Caan in the Alfred Hitchcock, they offered me the Chicken Delight delivery boy. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't pleased.
Because you had read for the agent, or that's what you were hoping to be put up for. Yeah. Okay.
And I told Jack, he was the producer, and he also recommended me for the role of the agent. I said, Jack, thank you so much for standing up for me, but this isn't for me. I don't want to do this. So he talked me into it, The one thing you do is you appeal to somebody's ego, particularly an actor's ego. We really would like you for this.
Right.
Well, if you really like me, it must not be as bad as I think it is. It was worse than I thought it was. In any case, they put me in the white uniform with a little white cap, and everybody would come by and say, "Can I have a breast? Can I have a thigh?"
While you're not filming, you mean just off script, off camera, right? They think they're big.
And it just compounds my misery. I just got feeling worse and worse and worse. But they told me the reason why I couldn't play the agent was because they had somebody like George Hamilton in mind.
Okay.
And I'm sure most of your listeners know who George Hamilton is, but he's quite tall. He always had a cravat,
Always had a tan.
Always had a tan.
Yes. He played a vampire, right?
Yes, he did. Love at First Bite.
Love at First Bite. That's how I know him.
Okay, yeah. A lot of more sophisticated roles. And certainly there's no way that I could be considered for the same role that George Hamilton was. So I think that's what finally allowed me to accept the Chicken Delight guy, because I know that I couldn't be George Hamilton. But they hadn't cast that role like a week into the film. And then we're out shooting the last scene, an exterior, where my character drives up in the Chicken Delight truck and delivers the chicken. So, it was an earlier scene, but we were shooting it last. I'm sitting, and the whole time we shot the show, I sat by myself. I didn't want to cause a tantrum. I didn't want to cause it. I didn't want to be that guy. So I just sat by myself. Mia Farrow was into a whole thing with therapy by means of screaming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Primal screaming.
Primal screaming.
Wow.
Yeah. And she invited everybody to primal scream with her. It was very, very sexy. Except me. I said, forget it.
But that's what you're good at. You're good at screaming. You're good at screaming.
Yeah, but I already done that. I did that in Blood Wedding. So I sat in my dressing room whenever they screamed. So I'm sitting there by myself. We're eating lunch outside, getting ready to shoot this last scene. And I'm sitting by myself, and I said, I've got to grow up. I've got to be more like a mature actor and handle this in a more respectful manner. So I got up from where I was sitting by myself, and I sat down with everybody else. Hey, Walter's joined the group. He's seen the error of his ways. So Jack comes out, my buddy, my friend, and says, "We got the actor to play the agent." Now, bear in mind, it was, oh God, that's what happens. Apocalypse Now, Martin
Sheen.
Yeah, we got Martin Sheen.
Oh.
Martin Sheen was a working actor, but he wasn't the movie star at that point.
And he's your height.
But he's my height and my physical size.
Yes.
And I hear that. And again, I'm going, my rocket ship is out of control, and we're plunging into some very heavily populated municipality where everybody is going to be destroyed by the explosion I cause. So I don't explode.
Okay.
I just stand there, and the director comes up to me and says, "Okay, Walter, now you're going to drive." And he looks in my face, and I'm just staring at him. And he sees the look, and it must have been really terrifying, because he said, "Okay, you're done." And that was it. I was fired on the spot.
But wait a second. You weren't fired. They kept you in the movie, right?
I was in the movie. I just wasn't in the long shot of driving up.
Oh, is that fired?
I think so. I mean, I didn't...
He wanted you off the set.
You got less screen time.
He wanted you off the set.
Yeah. And the word went out that I would never work at CBS again.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Wow.
but you know what I did? I wrote him a note, a handwritten note in my almost illegible handwriting. And I said, I can't remember his name, though he was a very hot director. He was working a lot. I said, "This is not an excuse. It's not an apology. It's an explanation. And I said, I just came off a TV series where I was a regular, you know.
Oh, but this was after Star Trek?
Yeah, this was after Star Trek.
Oh.
And I said, I really didn't want to take this role. And I explained that to my good friend Jack. But he said, we can write some stuff in and make it more dimensional.
Yeah.
And we did. Instead of just delivering chicken, I also handed up my credit list, you know, as an actor.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so that, you know, so here's your thigh, and by the way, I just appeared, and, you know, it's the kind of thing. So I thought that was going to reconcile the whole situation and make me feel more comfortable. But anyway, that's what I wrote, and he accepted it. And literally about 2 or 3 months later, I was working at CBS.
Oh, phew, that's good. Wow. You get a lot of second chances. But I get it. I get the jealousy and the frustration. I totally get it. I'm being on set, and then they say it's Martin Sheen. I can understand why you would have reacted that way. That would have been
completely relatable.
Infuriating. Yes, I totally get it. I mean, you are the same type.
Yeah.
Like, you are the exact same type.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Okay, well, Dad, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Yeah.
Those are very good stories.
Those were great stories. I know you have more, so we'll have you come on another time.
Oh yeah, I've got good stories too.
But the show is about humiliating stories. That's what
it is. Yeah, this episode.
No,
Always.
our show.
Oh, the whole show.
Basically every episode.
You know why I don't listen to it? Because I can't tell the difference between who's talking.
I know, you told me that, but that wouldn't really preclude you from enjoying the show, even if you didn't know who was talking.
No, it would.
It would?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm very nepotistic.
I see. Okay. Well, in any case, the premise, I have a podcast, Dad, and the premise of the podcast is how to survive.
Yes.
So the second half, we have someone on, and they tell us how they survived a story. Yeah. And so the story is usually humiliating or silly or embarrassing.
Okay.
So that's... So you got it right on the...
Okay.
Nailed it right on the head. Well, we will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Come right back.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped, self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Chris?
Yes.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
I am.
Okay. Some experts see sociopaths as hot-headed. They act without thinking how others will be affected. Psychopaths are more cold-hearted and calculating. They carefully plot their moves and use aggression in a planned-out way to get what they want. We were talking about the disc that old-timey doctors used to wear. The disc is known as a head mirror, and it helps... Whoa.
Yeah, good luck.
Otolaryngologists, which are ENTs.
Yes.
Oh, no wonder they went to ENTs. Holy ghost. Visualize various body cavities of interest. You have a body cavity of interest, don't you, Chris?
So many.
To use the device, the medical professional swings the mirror down over one eye, peering through the center hole. Oh, I didn't remember that part. A light source is then shown on the mirror's concave surface, reflecting and illuminating the dark hole in question. Essentially, the cavity can be visualized without having the light source obstructing the doctor's view. But they don't seem to use it anymore. That's interesting.
I don't think we've ever seen it used.
I've only ever seen it on top of someone's head in a skit or something. I don't know if it was ever a real thing. It's like a medicine ball.
Now they have cameras.
Yeah, now they have
to go down into your throat.
That's
they don't
right.
need to use that big mirror light head thing.
Oh, the doctor took out one of my tubes yesterday. He's like, "Oh, it's already out. I'll just grab it." Fucking painful as hell. I had no idea
Where was
coming.
the tube?
In my ear.
Oh, not like a fallopian tube.
It was a fallopian tube, but he took it out through my ear. Because you know why? Less scarring.
Yes.
Prettier for bathing suits.
You got to wear bikinis.
Yeah.
Till the last day on Earth.
Okay, if you're being harmed by a narcissist or sociopath, get help. It doesn't matter which one it is. Your safety and mental health are at risk. Don't keep their secrets. Talk about your experiences. The Mia Farrow, this is great. The Mia Farrow Hal Holbrook film that my dad was talking about was called Goodbye Raggedy Ann, about a Hollywood writer who tries to talk a dejected actress out of suicide. I feel like Mia Farrow was probably born to play that role.
Yes.
Primal scream therapy is a psychotherapy in which the patient recalls and reenacts a particularly disturbing past experience, usually occurring early in life, and expresses normally repressed anger or frustration, especially through spontaneous and unrestrained screams, hysteria, or violence.
Pass.
Well, it also just seems like a weird thing to be doing on the set.
With others?
With others. It seems like it's supposed to be a private thing, Mia.
Hey guys, I know we're at our paid jobs right now, but I'm going to tell you about the time I was 4 and was left alone without parental supervision.
Under the state.
You know, like it's weird. Weird thing to do with people you are on a professional set with.
Do you think she adopted so many children just to have people to
scream with?
Scream sessions with?
She needs to harmonize.
She harmonizes. That's a lovely way to look at it.
I think there's a lot to unpack with Mia Farrow on a different podcast that we could do that would be like 12 episodes.
That I have no interest in.
We wouldn't even scratch the surface.
No.
Someone else is probably going to do that podcast and maybe I'll listen to it. Hey, do you guys want to thank some of our Patreons?
I do.
Do you think we should call them Patreons or patrons? Patrons?
I guess the site calls them patrons, right?
Okay. Thanks, patrons. For our Seek Shelter members, we give a shout out. This is the $10 level. And with that, you also get an extra episode every month.
And you get bonus material from the existing episodes. Mm-hmm. And you get the newsletter. And
discounts.
You get discounts, yeah.
Sometimes you get prizes.
Yes, prizes.
Prizes. First off, Jim K.
Nice and simple, keeping it short.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for keeping things simple for us. And thanks for joining the party. We got another J name coming up.
Are you about to? I was gonna say, are you about to introduce Barracuda? What's going on?
You know what? I think when I was a kid, I always dreamed of being a DJ.
Sure.
Did you guys record yourselves into a tape recorder and pretend to be DJs?
No, not a DJ, but I think I told you my brother and I would do radio shows.
Yeah.
Scripted shows.
Oh, you scripted yours?
Oh, yes. These were like podcasts.
You guys were much more professional than me and my friend that we would just pretend to be DJs and record it on a tape recorder. We weren't.
I may have done that with my friends now that I think about it.
Welcome to KFPK. We're going to play some Prince. I don't know. I don't remember. Janine. Oh, Janine. I'm going to get this wrong.
ENT.
Otolaryngology. No. Jochems. It's Jochems. How would you guys pronounce that?
Jochems.
EMS. It could be
Jochems? I have no idea.
It's not Jochems. Nobody's going to say that.
Giacomo. I have no idea.
It's Beach Boys song.
Kokomo.
Yeah. We know. We were just making a joke. We know it's not Giacomo.
It's I'm going to go with Jochems.
Okay.
No, Jochems. Jochems is fun because then she's got joke in her name.
Yeah, sounds like a comedy club.
I like her little picture is a really pretty tortoise shell kitty cat.
Oh.
All right, next up, we've got Sandra Meads.
Thanks, Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra, for joining us. Thanks for having a really easy to pronounce name, unlike Janine.
Yeah.
With her cat.
I mean, it's no Jim K, but still pretty good.
But keeping it simple for us, Sandra. Next up, we've got Rachel Jones.
Wow. Another simple one.
I know.
Thanks, Rachel.
We like it. We like it easy. Uh-oh. Whoa.
What?
Kate, you're doing a real number on me here. Kate Sismakiewicz. Say Kate
Sismakowicz?
Sim. Wait, there's a Z. There's an S and a Z together.
Oh.
Sim. It's either Simkiewicz or Zimkiewicz. I mean, it's also...
Is it Andy Zikowitz from NYPD Blue?
It might be.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Kate Andy.
Thanks, Zikowitz.
Thanks, Sipowitz. Kate Zimkiewicz. You can really just yell at me for getting that so many ways of wrong. All of you, we're so thankful for supporting us and the work we're doing and to help keep Garen in garden squirrel sweatshirts.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we will soon be switching to a different platform for our merchandise, but we are in the process of it. So have patience with us.
Yeah, we're doing our best. It just takes a little while to get artwork the right size and make sure we also want to get samples of the merchandise because we want to make sure it's really high quality.
Right.
We don't want you guys ordering stuff and then you get it and you're like, what is this garbage?
Yeah.
We want the best for you guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we like you.
Yeah, we're not garbage squirrel. Well, are we? Maybe a little bit.
Maybe we are.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. And until next time,
remain calm.